Hello everybody, Shadow SP here, and I am back on Granblue Fantasy. Today we're going to do some side story related stuff. So, first of all, since the last time I've been in here, they've reorganized the side stories tab, which is actually kind of good. Whoop, that was a misclick. For the most part, the early tabs are pretty nice to navigate. You know, what makes the sky blue, you got 3 events. Over here, you got all the society stuff, Dragon Knight stuff, summer stuff, RoboMe series. Collabs are pretty easy to access. The one that's hard to access is Exploring the Skies one, because that's just literally everything else. But, you know, it's better now. It's not perfect, but it is better. Alright, so there are 2 major events that I have pre-cleared that we're going to talk about because they have some cool stuff in them. First of all, we have Home Sweet Moon, which, and both of these were added somewhat recently. It's obviously it's been a little while, months, but they weren't around when I was first clearing side stories, and they weren't around when we unlocked Relic Buster, which was a class that was added with this event. So just for that, it's it's a cool event. Added a cool class. All right, so we've already gotten ourselves to the ending. I'm just gonna go to the ending and skip my way through it. So, what did we just get? So first of all, we got a weapon, irrelevant. Second, we got the Sephiroth Evilite, and that's in this tab. It's got and more loot. We got the Sephiroth Evilite, which we're going to need this. We don't really need it right now, but we're going to need it eventually. So it's nice that we get it now and don't have to worry about it later. The Silver Centrums are actually part of a package, which is 4 Silver Centrums, 40 Blue Sky Crystals, 200 Sword Stones, and 200 Pistol Stones, which is exactly what you need to trade for 4 Synchronicity Cores in the shop so you can unlock Relic Buster. Which is pretty nice. It makes it so that if you're willing to... It means if you're willing to skip to chapter 73, I believe it was, because that's the... I believe that's the requirement for one of the prerequisites for this event. Then you can unlock Relic Buster without having to do weird side stuff. You can just clear this side story and you have Relic Buster. Now you have to clear a bunch of side stories to get to this side story, but that's, again, it just takes time. It's not that hard. Yeah, so we can see here our last major thing that we've obtained is Cassius, the SSR. So Cassius is an SSR character, and he is a pretty decent one, actually. He's got some utility that is even usable in some higher level setups, but for our account, he's got a really solid kit. So first of all, supplemental damage on charge attack, totally fine. It's not amazing, but it's okay. His skills are where it's at. His first skill is a buff removal and 8-hit damage. Second skill is 10% stackable damage, or attack and defense down, up to 30%. And then Overclock, the third skill, just refreshes the other skills and gives a regen buff, which is pretty nice. Yeah, and again, if your opponent is using a lot of charge attacks, special attacks, you get access to that Dispel every single time and some extra charge bar. And he's got this, he's got a special buff that, you know, if he's at low HP, he gets a big restore, gets all of his skill cooldowns back. This is a character that we can use. He's also an other race, so we don't have to worry about Bahamut weapons not giving him buffs like we might for some other characters. So we'll just uncap Cassius to his max.
ようやく調子が戻ってきた。実は脳を摘出および再移植の影響か、肉体の動作に若干の異常が発生していた。これからは問題ない。
That was very talkative. So yeah, that's pretty good. We've got a new character to play with because of the Home Sweet Moon event. We got access to Relic Buster if you haven't gotten a Relic Buster yet. You got an Evilite, which is going to be useful for recruiting evokers. It's just solid stuff. Alright, so there is this bonus story. There's one of them in here, I believe, that, you know, if we clear everything, you get an uncap item to uncap Eustace Dark, who is a gacha character that we will not be obtaining. So we don't really have to get that item, but if you have Dark Eustace, this is where you can get that item for free, rather than trying to spend a bunch of treasures in the shop to get it. So that's good stuff. Also, at an earlier stage in the event, one that we didn't actually, since I didn't show the entire event because it's long and tedious to skip through everything, we get a gold brick, which we will need later. These things are very rare. They're very hard to come by. We'll need it for later. And we can see over here, this is, where is it? Yeah, here's our, sorry. We get this staff. It's nothing special, as are most of the event weapons, but it is a staff, and I don't think we have a dark staff yet, so that's at least something for unlocking weapon combinations. So now we've cleared Home Sweet Moon, cleared the 7th anniversary event. We can go over to Created by the Stars, Loved by the Skies, which is the 8th anniversary event. Alright, so we have already obtained some of the stuff. I'll talk about it in just a second after we do the ending here. We're obviously skipping because we're not trying to show any spoilers or anything. So we got a Disaster Claw. This is a Fire Fist weapon. It's okay. We got an Ode to Evolution here, which also will pair with one of the items that we got earlier, which is the Small Storyteller. We'll talk about that in a second. Another thing that we obtained earlier that we didn't, since I didn't show it, we got a Damascus Kit. This is less useful than the gold one, but if you need to uncap a gacha weapon, this is how you do it. Unless you're insane and just roll for a ton of dupes, but in that case even, sometimes you need more than one copy of a weapon in your grid. That's where these ingots come in. They're pretty useful for that. They're not extremely common, but for someone who doesn't build the gacha grids very often, you're going to have enough ingots to uncap a few weapons. A few key weapons, especially. Alright, so there's a couple things to do here. First of all, we're actually going to do this bonus story. There's lore and stuff in some of these, but don't worry about it. I'm just going to skip. So this one, the bonus story, A True Connection, gives you Luria's 5-star uncap item, which we will use right now, because I would like to have Luria uncapped. I don't know. I think she deserves it. Alright, good stuff. Alright, so from there, we're going to talk about some real stuff. So this weapon, or this side story, does not have a summon. It only has quartz, so we don't have to worry about any summons or anything here. The event shop is, once again, unremarkable, but it does have this link to the small storyteller and ode to evolution trade. And this is something we're going to have to think about really, really hard before we make a commitment. Because this is a free way to get a Dark Opus weapon. Not only that, we can get a Dark Opus uncap set to fully uncap a Dark Opus weapon. That is so much value, so much power to a single elemental grid. And it's going to be hard to uncap, to fully uncap another Dark Opus weapon, because it's going to require some really hard raids to uncap. Dark Opus weapons, for those who are uninitiated, there are 2 for each element. One is the primal skills. The other is the Omega skills. As this account is a no-gacha account, we would 100% of the time pick the Omega skills one. And they have Majesty for a large boost to attack and HP for their first skill that at max uncap will be able to level to skill level 20, which gives you a lot of attack and a lot of HP. And then they have 2 other skill slots. One of them is for cap increases, so you can increase the cap of normal attacks, charge attacks, skills, or chain bursts. Those also come with different effects that go on to the charge attack for the weapon if you're main-handing it. The same is true for the other skill slot, which there's a lot of options for. There's a lot of options for this one, but the entry-level starter opus would come with stamina on this skill. So basically, while your HP is high, you deal more damage. And the ultimate goal would be to get 1 for each element, because these are 100%, I believe, still at this point in the game, still the best weapons in the game. They can also be transcended up to a 6-star variant, though I have not done that yet on my main account. This is not the only way you can obtain the Dark Opus weapons. You can get them over here also, but they are very expensive. So they cost a lot of quartz, they cost a lot of weapon stones, and they cost Shadow Substance, which is a material that we can get from a high-level raid, and I don't believe we have access to yet. Yeah. This is the low-level version of that raid. There's a higher-level version that you need to do to fully uncap the Opus. However, in a weird twist of fate, this version might be more impossible to do because of the rules of this account. Because if soloing this one is a little bit weirder to do, because there are basically side streets that you can use to circumvent some of the challenge of the higher level version. We'll talk about those a lot more when they become even potentially relevant. But for now, we're not anywhere near that. Yeah, so that's the main wins for this. We get. Oops. We will get an Opus weapon. The question still remains, which one is the best to pick up? And I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to think about it really, really hard, because every element could use it. I can tell you pretty much right now, it's not going to be Water and Earth, because our grids our teams in Water and Earth just aren't good enough for me to want to invest heavily into those elements right now. But I could see arguments for Wind, Dark, Light, and even Fire. So I'll have to think. We're gonna have to leave this one on the table for a while, because this is a make or break decision. If we pick the wrong Opus, the account will be very hamstrung moving forward. So I have to think about it really hard. Just really, really hard. But yeah, I think that's about it when it comes to those side story, the two big side story things that I want to cover. Basically, the anniversary events in this game have some really solid rewards, and when they add them to the side stories, it's really nice to just go in and pick up some free stuff. I like free stuff. Makes the account stronger. But anyway. Oh, I should also say, just while we were talking about uncap items, there's another uncap item that this event drops. This other bonus story, A World Without You, will drop the uncap item for the light Zoe from the gacha. So the gun Zoe. So if you have that character, do this side story, do A World Without You, get another character at 5 stars. It's good stuff. Alrighty. Well, I think that about covers it for everything we needed to talk about here. I'm going to, and for those of you who are keen of eye, I may have released this video out of order with the one that I filmed most recently in chronological order, because the Created by Stars, Loved by Skies event requires that you finish the Paradise Lost event, which I hadn't done yet. So, doesn't really matter. So, I'm going to then start. I think our next goal is to level up some of these SSR characters that we just got. Level up Luria. We want to get the levels rolling, so we're feeling a little bit more powerful when we start to clear a little bit more content moving forward, because we're at the point where it's time to start prepping and challenging Proto-Bahamut, which I'm looking forward to. I don't think it's going to be impossible by any metric. I think we're going to be able to do it. We'll have to use a little bit of strategy, but I think we're going to handle it. Anyway, without further ado then, no more rambling. This has been Shadow SP. Thanks for being here. Signing out.